Oh, yes, it is episode 6 of Live from the Jam Jar. And man, oh man, it feels like we've had week after week of treats upon treats, and this week promises to be no different for sure. We've got soccer Afro-Caribbean vibes from Baraka, words from the heart from Dizraeli, and the treat of a tabla soundscape from Mohinder Singh. We are massively excited to have them all here in the studio this evening. I mean, there are so many artists and musicians who are unable to work out there. And let's face it, we don't know if all of them will still be able to do what they do in 6 months' time without some serious help. So as you know, we at ADU believe that the arts are fundamental to the health of our society, and we can't bear to be without even one iota of the creativity out there. So this platform is our offering to try and keep this creativity and sharing alive. So as you'll know by now, we are raising money for the artists here today, but also for 4 chosen charities that support the arts across the globe. If you can give, please do, because we are all in this together. So without further ado, let's go to our very first artist of this evening, who is waiting patiently on the stage. I will let Lal have the honour of introducing you. So Lal, over to you.
Episode 6 already. That's absolutely crazy, because it feels like we only started this project literally last week. I mean, last week's show was absolutely crazy. I don't know if you watched it, but Itchy was it was mind-blowing, wasn't it, Polly? It was absolutely crazy. But we're going to try and beat it. Now, this artist has been on tour with Take That. He's been playing tabla since he was 3. Mohinder!
kar dinna na din dinna ta tik dinna tik din dinna ta tik dinna na din dinna tit dinna tit din dinna करता ते करते तगे दिगना दा दा तिरगड़ता धारा ना किट तक तिरगड़ते ता तिरगड़ते ता तिरगड़ते ता तिरगड़ते ता तिरगड़ते ता तिरगड़ते देरे ताके देरे ते करदा ते ताके ते देरे करदा ते कता के दिगना तिरगड़ते तके न धा धा तिरगड़ते तके न धा धा तिरगड़ते तके न तिरगड़ते तके न धा धा तिरगड़ते तके न धा ते किट तक देरे तेरे किट तक दुना तिरगड़ता कता के ते कता के तिरगड़ते ता करते कता के तिरगड़ते ता करते कता के तिरगड़ते ता करता दिन्ना ना दिन दिन्ना ताके दिन ता तिरगड़ता के दिन तेटे ताके दिन ता तिरगड़ता तेटे ताके दिन ता तिरगड़ता के दिन ताके ताके ता तिरगड़ता तेटे ताके दिन तेटे ताके दिन तेटे ता तिरगड़ता के दिन ता ती ताके ता ती तिरगड़ते ता ती ताके दिन ता ताके दिन ता तिरगड़ता के दिन तेटे ताके दिन ता तिरगड़ता तेटे ताके दिन तेटे ताके दिन तेटे ताके दिन ता तिरगड़ता के दिन ता ती ता तिरगड़ता ती te kata ke digina daatr kr de te kata ke digina nage te take it daatr kr de te kata ke digina ka te te kata ke digina kata ke digina daatr kr de te kata ke digina nage te daatr kr de te kata ke digina ka te kata ke digina daatr kr de te kata ke digina nage te daatr te kata ke digina ka
The amazing Mendy at the Jam Jar Live. Absolutely. That, you know what? That's blown my mind. Now, Mo, is it true? Rumour has it that Take That got you to fly around arena stages on a flying carpet. True or false?
That is true.
Oh, it's true. See, this is what I'm missing in my life. We've got enough carpets. Why am I not flying around on a magic carpet? Why not? Polly, back to you.
Oh, thanks, Lal, and thank you so much, Mendy Singh. You have just carried us away off to a far-off land here in the studio. That was utterly beautiful. If you want more of that incredible sound back home, you can find more of his music if you look for Mendy Tabla on SoundCloud, MENDI Tabla. Go and check him out and fill up your boots with all that beauty. So up on stage, ready to unleash his words, is our next guest, poet, producer, MC, and multi-instrumentalist. Yup, it is none other than Dizraeli, and we are super stoked to have him with us here this evening. And this evening he comes stripped back to the bare roots. He is man, voice, words, and one hell of a heart as ever. I'm going to be having a little bit of a chat with him after his performance and finding out about what's been going on in his world. So without further ado, please open yourselves up. It's Dizraeli.
Thought I'd do something for anybody that's been losing sleep over this time. Kind of like a little insomnia medley. Freak out, I get monster mind scream when I beat out, my head pumps a hype steam like an ELAP, my pipe tight the night long. Beast out there, climb on the pylons and stare. It's not that I'm scared, I'm terrified, I ride the night sweaty. Eyes are wide, the mind heavy. Watch the spiders try get me. They get me, tangled again, in thrall to all tarantula men. Their lairs is all damp and obscene. Small hairs on them, I scramble, I scream, I run. I twist, I rage. The fist comes, hits my face. The girders, bricks and blades. Everybody wants me dead. I swear, I freak out in hot rooms, I freak out in hot rooms, I freak out in hot, I freak out in hot rooms, I freak out in hot rooms, I freak out in hot. Everybody's down the pub without me. 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 I freak out, I freak out, I freak, I freak out, I freak out, I freak, I freak out, I freak out, I freak, I freak out, I freak out, I freak. Everything's fine. Everything's cool. 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 12 a.m. now, the mind won't tessellate. The mind won't tessellate. 1 a.m. now, the mind won't tessellate. The mind won't tessellate. 2 a.m. now, the mind won't tessellate. The mind won't tessellate. 3 a.m. now, the mind won't tessellate. The mind won't tessellate. 4 a.m. now, the mind won't tessellate. The mind won't tessellate. 5 a.m. now, the mind won't tessellate. The mind won't tessellate. 6 a.m. now, the mind won't tessellate. The mind won't tessellate. 7 a.m. the mind won't tessellate. The mind won't. There are real seas crashing out that picture. Megaton waves coming at us. And on the cliffs there's a black figure, soundless, yelling out great sadness. There are hands in the cracks in the ceiling, fidgeting scaly and small. They're very lonely, they want me, I feel them, their parents shift and giggle in the wall. The wall's livid, the street paints teeth lights on it, orange against raw grey. A machine screams down lee side and I screw up and wait for the day. Wait for the 1 a.m. now, the mind won't tessellate. And then I thought I'd do something that relates to Bristol and the fact that I'm back home in Bristol after a long time being away, and the recent events related to Colston as well, which I was just whooping at. I'm going to see if I can remember it. If I fuck up, then that's fine. By a muddy river, in a murky town, I sit in sirens, see birds circling round. I see a gull up on the rooftop without wings. I watch it edge into the edge in mad winds. It's a mirror from within in a new chapter. In a whipping storm, in a cyclone of food wrappers. A kid is born. Now it's a trace of green. Now it's the taste of something strange and sweet. It doesn't heal, but it makes some peace. Puts a smile on the face of freaks, and it releases from the closet those afraid to breathe. And now we're marching in an army up against the stream, because we have seen that there is very little day to dream. 1 minute Sonny's deep up in the make-believe. Next minute Mummy's kneeling at his grave to grieve. Too cruel. We are cruel and we're angels. We kill life and give life with a movement of the arms. Chase dragons in the crucible of St. Paul's. Topple statues in a revolutionary dance by a muddy river. Then we chuck him in. My kids will not grow up looking up at him. My kids will not grow up in the ways I did, watching white friends morphing into racist pricks. Never, never. The muddy river raising up. I raise a rhythm and a bass line in praise of us. I raise my kids in a toast to the courageous ones who kill the devil with 100 million paper cuts, singing a change will come. In the course of all this craziness, I see my mates parade like they were made for this. And they grew up facing shits that I never faced. Still they're turning up the temperature for better days. Still turning up and tracing out the blueprints for new ways and new architecture, new movements for new stages. And you could celebrate the dawn. Instead of panicking and sellotaping doors shut. Instead of gaping gormless at the gold-framed stories of the slave-made empire that decorate your walls, that we celebrate the dawn. We break them ornaments. We work making structures that we'd never made before. I see my children standing with us at this river, so I'll work until the waters come and elevate us all. I'm planting seeds at the end of the world. Listen, I'm making trees at the end of the world. I'm sipping tea at the end of the world. I'm playing beats at the end of the world. Taking to streets at the end of the world. I plant seeds at the end of the world. Listen, I start life at the end of the world. I start life at the end of the world.
Yes. Oh, give it up for Dizraeli. Thank you so much. Oh, yeah, pick up your mic and let's move this one out the way. And I would just... I've got a lot of things I want to talk to you about.
Oh, we've only got 8 minutes, mate.
I know, right, let's crack on. I've seen you perform so many times. I don't know if you knew that. I've been there in the dark.
We've definitely bumped into each other
I know.
many times, yeah.
But I have always been amazed by your ability to talk about really personal things to yourself. And really, like, the audiences, you can hear a pin drop and they are in the palm of your hand, but also your ability to kind of make sense of the world around you. And I wondered if for you as an artist, do you write to make sense of the world, or do you write for yourself or for others or for both?
Why do I write? Let's start with the small questions. I do write to make sense of the world, definitely. And I think that's more and more the case. I think the madder the world gets and the more confusing and sort of paradoxical it becomes, then the more, for me personally, my writing becomes, an exercise to make sense of it. And writing rhymes is a really great way to make sense of things because it makes symmetry out of chaos. I think that we have like a really natural... I think rhymes have a really natural magnetism for us because we crave that symmetry. And for me, definitely, it's like when I finished writing that piece I just did, literally a few days ago, I just rapped it to myself over and over again because I found it so soothing. I found it so comforting.
There is something so therapeutic about, it must be about speaking poetry, but also for us hearing those words. And we've had so many incredible guests on this show already. And what has really come out of it is the fact that poetry has this insane ability to be able to kind of paint this picture and to cut to the heart of things in few words, few and many, but it just cuts through what you couldn't say with prose.
Right.
And it really helps to make sense of things. And your first poem, Insomnia, I actually couldn't sleep last night. So I was like, I was going, no, it's cool, I'm fine. So that definitely spoke to me.
So many people.
Yeah, and it's really nice to hear someone else speak your own truth and make sense of it. And I often get that from what you are saying and how frank you are about things. And am I assuming that comes from your own insomnia?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely. That is from an album called The Unmaster, which came out last September. And it is basically about a bit of a mental meltdown or period of struggle that I had a few years ago. And that definitely included insomnia and just a lot of like anxious electricity in general in my body, whether day or night. So in the daytime, it would manifest as kind of either being kind of frozen by it or like hyperactive.
Right.
And then at night, it would manifest as not being able to sleep. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you feel that album, did you write that, The Unmaster, for your own therapy, if you like? You were saying, you know, the words are therapeutic, hearing those things and being able to say them over and over again. Is that why you wrote that, or did you want other people to say, yes, me too?
Probably neither of those, to be honest. I think I wanted to make an album because I'm a musician and
that's what you do.
That's what I do. And I was in the process of making the album when I had my kind of big wobble, and it kind of put me out of the game for several months, really, creatively. More than that, really. Probably about a year, actually. But the process of going to seek help, going to therapy and discovering mindfulness and group therapy as well, and all kinds of different new kind of ways into myself that I never had before, opened the door to the songs that became the album. And I tend to, my creative process is that I tend to just write all the time, constantly, and a lot of it's just total faff, and
I'm sure it's not.
And then some of it starts to draw out a thread, you know. So sometimes you look back over a period of 12 months and the things that you've made look like a coherent project. You're like, oh, and just that I find, especially when I'm being really sort of true to myself and my experience as an artist, you'll find that things make sense as a kind of whole from a period. So yeah, I ended up choosing the songs from that period that really related to the question of madness, really. And it was in the year when Donald Trump got elected. We voted for Brexit. There, you know, well, like every year is at the moment, it's just like crisis after crisis.
Yeah.
And it's mad how we've become used to that. We've become used to a level of madness
this
and
onslaught,
upheaval.
this constant, yeah. And it takes its toll on everyone.
It does, yeah, exactly.
And that's kind of okay. And I wondered, because I know that
it's okay that it takes its toll. It's not okay that it's happening. And
it's not okay that it's happening.
That's my next kind of topic. Is like, how do we fucking stop this? You know, because actually, it's all preventable insanity. All of this, you know, like racism and prejudice is a preventable insanity. Climate change is still just about a preventable insanity. Trump is a preventable insanity, as is Boris Johnson, and. So yeah, that's. I feel like that's the next.
Is that the next direction?
Maybe.
You're going to be
I don't know.
in?
It might be a piano album about my knees. Who knows?
Well, thank you so much for coming in today, and yeah, I urge people to go and check out the album because you were doing a tour. Is that right? Which has just been.
This was.
This is your tour.
This is
sort of
mid-tour
now.
right
Where
now.
would you be?
I wrote down all the festivals I was going to do this with my band this summer on one piece of paper recently, and it was pretty brutal, to be honest. I was like, wow, that's a lot of opportunities and a lot of money as well. And but I mean, you know, I'm not going to grumble because I have it far easier than most of the world right now. So
there are a lot of people struggling out there for sure.
On that theme, I would like to plug this T-shirt I'm wearing,
please do.
Which is Continuous Breath. T-shirt, and it's a T-shirt I designed, and the 50% of all proceeds go to help refugees, specifically the coronavirus appeal. So,
and where can people get these?
People can get this on the Dizraeli Bandcamp. So,
wicked. Go there.
Small gestures.
Get the T-shirt. No, absolutely. That's amazing. Thank you so much for coming in. It's been a total pleasure.
Thank you so much
for having me.
I bought this hat.
Oh, yeah.
At Shambhala.
Tell us about your hat.
This I'll tell you about my hat. This is from Shambhala.
I did want to ask
hat.
you earlier, actually, because I was like, that's a damn fine hat.
Yeah, it's a damn fine hat, and it's ridiculous, obviously. But I wore it in honour of Shambhala, which I'm going to be sorely missing this year.
Yeah,
we all
are. All the festivals.
Yeah. Shambhala especially, though, let's be honest. I could say that because I'm not part of the team.
Yeah.
So big up to all the lovelies who were looking forward to cuddling each other in fields this summer.
Oh, man, for a massive group hug.
Yeah.
I mean, how good is it going to be when we actually finally get out there?
I'm going to snog the fuck out of everybody.
Oh, yes. He said it. He said it here. Right, we're going to have to move on.
Right, sorry, yeah,
I've
yeah.
loved it. I've loved it. We've all loved it. We are going now, while our next band sets up amongst the jam jars here, we're going over to the home once again of the legendary DMC world champion, that is Mr. Switch. He's pulling yet another genre out of his bag, and this week it is all things swing.
Stop the gramophone, please.
So hot. So hot. This is the sound of the 30s.
This calls for some big scratch.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
There may be trouble ahead. While there's moonlight and music and love and romance.
Gather around, all you rug nutters.
Let's face the music and dance.
Gather around, all you rug nutters, because we're going to show you what swing is all about.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I can swing anything better than you. I can swing anything. I can swing anything better than you. Better than you. No, you can't. Yes, I can. No, you can't. Yes, I can. Be my guest and I'm swinging now.
Swing it, baby.
Let me break it down for you again.
what? Switcheroo.
Keep moving, boy. Big up Mr. Switch, big up Dizraeli, big up Mendy, and now live at the Jam Jar, Baraka!
Sakana obanoye, kadijwe obahoye, obana shika kwada, nogana ni obaduye, obana shika kwada, duye aduye.
bad or good. I can feel, oh yes I feel, the weight of history in my soul. I can feel adrenaline beating in my blood.
The rules you say.
Everywhere I go,
The rules you say.
when I'm away from home,
The rules you say.
10,000 miles away.
The rules you say.
Yes, the rules will stay. The places I visit in my life, we'll have, oh yes, we'll have a lasting mark upon my heart. And even I'm far away from home, the past and I, yes, the past and I will never be apart.
The rules you say.
Everywhere I go,
The rules you say.
when I'm far away,
The rules you say.
when I'm away from home,
The rules you say.
10,000 miles away. Yes, I know. Oh, yes, I know. My roots will stay with me forever. Yes, I know. Oh, yes, I know. The past is part of what I am. And even I'm far away from home, the past and I, yes, the past and I will never be apart.
The rules you say.
Everywhere I go,
The rules you say.
when I'm away from home,
The rules you say.
10,000 miles away,
The rules you say.
yes, the rules will stay.
The rules you say.
That's what Rasta say.
The rules you say.
l'argent, pas ni travail, monsieur qui souffert. Ou pas ni l'argent, pas ni manger, monsieur qui m'en fait. Ou pas ni l'argent, pas ni rien, tout est changé. Et n'ayez jamais où tourner étranger. Société pour papa, mon tout
C'est bien comme ça.
Religion pour papa, mon
On
tout
se vit comme ça.
Mon méchant pour papa, mon
On
tout
se vit comme ça.
Policier pour papa, mon
On se vit
tout
comme ça.
Et mon noir et l'école ensemble, yo tourne les méos. Ou pas nous préparer, vivre ensemble parce que mon la terre changé. Pourquoi nous prenons l'amour, mon la tête au méchant. Mais c'est pour nous venir ensemble pour faire la ville à marcher. Société pour papa, mon
On se vit comme ça.
religion pour papa, mon
On se vit comme ça.
méchant pour papa, mon
On se vit comme ça.
policier pour papa, mon
On se vit comme ça.
Et mon noir et l'école ensemble, yo tourne les méos. Pourquoi nous préparer, vivre ensemble parce que mon la terre changé. Pourquoi nous prenons l'amour, mon la tête au méchant. Mais c'est pour nous venir ensemble pour faire la ville à marcher. Société pour papa, mon
On se vit comme ça.
religion pour papa, mon
On se vit comme ça.
policier pour papa, mon
On se vit comme ça.
méchant pour papa, mon
On se vit comme ça.
The amazing Baraka live at the Jam Jar here in Bristol.
Now, I was going to get this right this time. So when I was walking here, it was raining in Bristol. It was it was miserable weather, and I was just like, oh God, right, you know how it is walking in the rain. And then I was walking up the stairs here at the Jam Jar, and then you started playing. And I was like, I'm going to work, and it was just absolutely amazing. You guys are so good. Now you're from Ghana, Senegal, Trinidad, Dominico, and Ireland. How did you guys get together? How did you first start? Chris or Ben? Which one wants to go first?
Well, it started many years ago. I would say in the 1987.
Wow.
And it started off, our name was Bristol Percussion Circle because there were 12 of percussionists in the band. And our late home player, Brendan Whitmore, he cut everything down, stripped everything down to 5 musicians. When I asked why, he said, there are too many musicians, not enough work is being done.
The classic.
So only 5 people could do it. So now he changed the name from Bristol Percussion Circle to Badu International. We were going. Then he decided we have to do an album. We finished the album, and the album was promoted by the late, what's the name? It's a very big DJ, actually. I forgot his name at the moment. And then from there, he decided we should change our name to Spirit. I said, why? He said, because the music has some spirit to it.
Yeah.
And so the name became Baraka. Baraka means in Arabic, spirit.
It's absolutely amazing. There's so many different references. There's obviously reggae and soca and loads of different styles. Do you all bring your own individual flavours to it? Is that how it works, Chris?
Yeah, that's the great thing about the band, because we all come from different backgrounds musically. Obviously, Ben, Ghanaian traditional percussion. Tony from Trinidad brings the soca, the calypso and so on. Royston from Dominica Commonwealth, where there's things like zouk, compa, you know, and obviously reggae is always around. And Rowan comes from a more jazzy background.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I come from both jazz, funk, and...
you can hear those flavours. You can hear it.
I try to, yeah. And obviously African influence as well. So that's the beauty of the band. We have all these different combinations.
It's just, you're always waiting for the next thing, and you're like, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It's such an amazing sound. Now, I've been reading your biogs, all of you, and you two guys have done some pretty amazing stuff. I mean, you've all done amazing stuff outside of the band, but just looking, you've been working on the West End. Let's just talk a little bit about that.
I'm originally from London, so, well, first at the Guildhall School of Music and Drama. From there, I managed to get onto the jazz scene, where I was playing lots of different artists there. Plus, as you do as a musician, you've got to try and spread your fingers everywhere. So I was doing some Western shows as well, like Grease, Soul Train, Fiddler on the Roof.
Amazing.
Those sort of things. So
what were those experiences like?
It's completely different from gigging, of course, because there you're usually sat in a pit, reading music, which I hate. But there's a certain amount of discipline that you needed for a show.
Yeah,
that
definitely.
Sometimes in a gig you just go with the flow.
You just go with it and let it flow,
Yeah, but with a show it has to be absolutely bang on. Yeah.
Amazing. And Ben, I was reading through yours. Now, you've been working with Peter Gabriel. Now, the funny thing about that, Mendy, who's our first artist, who's over there, also worked with Peter Gabriel. So there's 2 connections there. How did that come about for you?
I was then artistic director for a drumming and dance company in Bristol, Ekome. And so Peter Gabriel also, that year, that was the first ever woman festival.
Right.
First ever. And Peter Gabriel, by then, he's left his band and it became a solo. And he wrote about this. It's a Hot Wind, it's called the album, where he sings Biko, 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 Biko. And then he wanted, after that chorus, he wanted a lot of African percussion.
Yeah, sure.
And he happened to choose my group.
Amazing.
So we went there with a whole lot of set. I mean, a whole family of drums. And so when it comes to that point, and we're rehearsing this at his house in Box place. We rehearsed, and then suddenly it coincided with the first ever Woman Festival.
I think that's what you said as well, Mo, didn't you? You met Woman as well.
Yeah, first ever Woman. And so we were surprised when Peter Gabriel was playing, and then he called and said he wanted the drummers on.
Amazing.
On the stage. So we all went on the stage. The whole stage was.
He's literally a British legend in music, absolutely. But another person you've been working with is soundscape legend Vangelis. Now, how did that come about? Wow.
Well, I was living in London, and Vangelis was writing the something of a fire. What's the name? Chariots of Fire.
Chariots of Fire, yeah.
That's when he was writing it. And then he wanted 7 conga players.
Right, okay.
And I was one of them.
Wow.
And we were rehearsing at the Hampton Gunning studio in London. And then suddenly, there's too many of it. It's got about 50 girls with timpanis. And they all bang to create the thunder in the film, basically. We have 7 conga players, and we got about 3 percussion set players, you know. All of them have all the kits. And I stood there and I said, no, I think too many drums. And everybody was all over the place. So I said, all right, I'll move from drums completely and I'll pick up a cowbell.
Always have more cowbell, just so you know.
And I picked up a cowbell. And I was playing timing for everybody to blend in. And Vangelis said, that's the one.
Oh,
so
my God.
with just one cowbell, I led the whole orchestra.
Absolutely amazing. You guys are just so good, and I think you are one of my favourite bands ever on the face of the planet. Now, before we wrap this up, someone, and I think it's you, wants to say something straight down the camera. I think if you want to pick this up.
Yes, everybody we all had a good time tonight, but I want to say a special hello to my grandchildren, Lena and Zara, my daughter Keisha, my son Jamal, and the rest of my family in the Caribbean, brothers and sisters, nieces and nephews. This is one big love from Uncle Tony and Granddad.
Hey! Right, let's get back to you, Polly. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Lau, and thank you, Baraka. Oh my goodness. I mean, that was just pure sunshine vibes. That was definitely my best dance of 2020 by far. And definitely, I think you're my favourite band as well now. Everyone who wasn't behind a camera was on their feet. Thank you. Woof! And thank you everyone who was here. You know, everyone today. We've had Dizraeli, Baraka, we've had Mendy. It's just been amazing. I mean, gratitude right there. And please don't forget that we are collecting donations to support the artists here today. So if you can, then please do donate using the donate button on our website. Any extra pennies raised are going to be distributed between 4 seriously awesome charities supporting the arts during this time of crisis and beyond. We'll play you out with a couple of short films that tell you a little bit more about their incredible work. Join us again for our next episode. I know we are relentless. We have more incredible music. We've got Going Dogs. We've got Cecilia and Glover, spoken word from Stephen Lightbone, plus more. I just can't wait to see you all then. In the meantime, enjoy your weeks, and here are those short films, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Yeah. Africa will rise up. Africa will turn up. Africa will turn up. No matter the matter. We no go surrender. We go
Place of War at this point in time is our hope. It's basically the only hope we have.
But there it is in Place of War, we're like, plow, here you go.
What has happened today, it's amazing. It's beyond my expectation.
Having a space where young people can go is key to their future.
People have amazing ideas and they are young and vivacious. I think it's crucial to have such spaces.
The purpose of this cause is just to equip the entrepreneurs and people who want to see change in their community to be the people that they want to be.
This whole collaboration was brought together in Place of War. It's really important, it's really dope.
Life is really difficult for local artists, but in Place of War, we came through with the intention of spreading a good vibe through the name of music.
It matters. It's so massively important in the communities that we work in.
This has been the most amazing journey for me. So a big thank you, and I'm very happy.
Hear me with my freestyle flying high like a kite, only star in the sky.